The woman you see on the screen is almost like a shadow. She has no title, no speeches, yet behind the curtain, her trace exists in the darkest corners of North Korea. Kim Yo-jong is the biological sister of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. She is not an advisor. She is not an assistant. She is a threat and, according to some, the most dangerous woman in the world. Her very presence is like a message. When the leader remains silent, she speaks. When rockets are launched, eyes turn to her face. In moments of diplomatic tension, she is always behind the camera. On that face lies a faint smile, but beneath it sits a cold calculation. While Kim Jong-un has transformed into the sharpest mind of a nuclear regime, the world asks just one question: will the future be shaped by her hands? In this video, I will tell the story of a woman rising within one of the world's most secretive regimes, a story woven with power, fear, and absolute loyalty. As you saw in the title, you will be face to face with the most dangerous woman in the world. Please don't forget to watch the video until the end and hit the like button. I'm the Harter. If you're ready, let's begin. October 2024. Location: Pyongyang, North Korea. Suddenly, a drone crashed into the capital. This drone was dropping anti-North Korea propaganda leaflets, most likely sent from South Korea. This was yet another episode in the decades-long war between the two countries that were once united. After the drone crashed, the regime released an official statement warning South Korea. If military tensions rose again, they should be prepared for the worst. By the worst, they meant nuclear retaliation. The border was placed on full war footing, ready for a command to fire. Of course, nuclear threats from North Korea are nothing new. The leader has long threatened to wipe out his neighbor and regularly shows off his expanding nuclear arsenal. The only difference this time was that the threat did not come from him, but from someone else. His own sister, Kim Yo-jong. The world had seen this woman before. In February 2018, during the Winter Olympics in South Korea, for the first time in decades, a member of the Kim family set foot on South Korean soil. For 3 days, she mesmerized the media. She attended meetings. She had lunch with South Korean President Moon Jae-in. Unlike her brother, she did not hurl threats, nor was she frightening. With her charm, soft words, and diplomatic demeanor, she captured attention. For a brief moment, the world believed North Korea had changed direction. Perhaps it was the beginning of a new era. Perhaps it was a road to peace. But the Kim Yo-jong scene in South Korea was only one of her faces. Soon, the world would see the other. North Korea is a country built entirely on control. Every fragment of information is carefully filtered by the regime. In North Korea, information is not just data, it is power, fear, and even loyalty. For the Kim family, they are not merely leaders. They are beings believed to be chosen by fate. Their power is seen as sacred. Every policy, every decision, and every action serves a single purpose: the survival of the Kim dynasty. Kim Yo-jong was born either in 1987 or 1989, her exact birth date is unknown. When Kim Jong-il suddenly died in 2011, his youngest son, Kim Jong-un, was declared his successor. At the funeral, a young woman in black, head bowed, eyes fixed on the ground, stood behind him. She cried like the others, but no one knew who she was. Kim Yo-jong had lived her whole life in the shadows. Even within North Korea, her existence was a secret. There were no photos of her. Her name appeared in no official documents. She was absent from state media. But during her brother's reign, that would change drastically. At first, she seemed like just another aide, silent, loyal, preferring to stay in the background. She carried her brother's documents and was always at his side. To an outsider, she looked like an ordinary assistant. But if you looked closely, she was always there, in the most critical moments, in the most important meetings, directing from the shadows. Analysts noticed. Intelligence agencies, journalists, and defectors all began to ask the same question: who is this woman? For Kim Jong-un, the answer was simple. She is the only person he trusts, the only one inside the family he truly believes in and shares his secrets with. But how could a leader who trusts no one and even eliminates members of his own family trust his sister? Their unbreakable bond began in childhood. In the mid-1990s, 2 foreign children were enrolled at a private school in Bern, Switzerland. Officially, they were the children of diplomats. Their passports bore fake names. No one knew they were the future leaders of the world's most secretive regime. To their classmates, they were just normal kids, playing soccer, inviting friends over, traveling around Europe. But the woman acting as their mother was not really their mother. She was their aunt, sent from North Korea to care for them. Years later, she defected to the United States and is believed to still live in hiding. Then, one day, without warning or farewell, the 2 children vanished. They were pulled out of school and returned to North Korea. After coming back from Switzerland, Kim Yo-jong studied computer science at Kim Il-sung University in Pyongyang. In 2014, when Kim Jong-un temporarily stepped back from duties due to health issues, she handled state affairs. By the end of that year, her brother appointed her as first deputy director of the Propaganda and Agitation Department. If you don't know, this department controls every image, every speech, and every piece of news in North Korea. In short, it wields terrifying power. By 2017, she had risen even further. Promoted to the top levels of the single-party system, she officially had a seat at the highest table of power. But her true talent was in propaganda. Wherever Kim Jong-un appeared, she was there too, not just a sister, but the mastermind behind the curtain. She prepared the stage before he arrived and followed him like a shadow after he left. By 2018, she was no longer behind the curtain. She was in the spotlight. The world's eyes were on her. With a controlled smile and calculated calmness, it was as if the stage she had waited for her whole life had finally arrived. She shook hands with the South Korean president, climbed the steps of the presidential palace, and sat in the seat of honor. From that moment, one message was clear: North Korea does not just launch missiles, it also conducts diplomacy. And the one conducting it was no longer Kim Jong-un, but his sister. The New York Times described her as North Korea's Ivanka Trump. But that comparison was superficial. Kim Yo-jong was not just a name, she was a strategy. Every handshake, every seat she chose, every measured smile, each carried a message. By 2020, she was no longer just a diplomatic face, she was a direct threat. That June, the Inter-Korean Liaison Office, built as a symbol of peace, was blown up by her direct order. She even announced it to the world herself: South Korea is now our enemy. We will destroy everything built in the name of peace with them. Her words had become as dangerous as missiles. As her brother sometimes faded into the background, it was always her voice making the threats. Some analysts believe these moments were tests, trials of her ability to lead during crises. She did not hesitate to show her strength, even sending open threats to the United States: those who underestimate us will pay the price. Whenever Kim Jong-un disappeared due to health rumors, she stepped in, effectively running the country, though not officially named leader. Later, she was given the unprecedented title of Deputy Director of State Affairs. But one problem remained. In North Korea, the leader had always been a man. Would this tradition stop her, or would she be the one to break it? Many attribute her rise solely to family ties, but that is only part of the truth. Her real power lies in her loyalty, intelligence, and ruthlessness. She shows unwavering devotion to her brother, targets his enemies without hesitation, and never questions his orders. Yet, unlike others, she develops herself. Under her leadership, North Korea's propaganda became more modern, dramatic, and personal, and her signature was on it. Inside the regime, everyone knows her, and more importantly, they fear her. Her name is linked to purges, disappearances, and broken diplomatic ties. While her brother is associated with nuclear tests and international threats, she is the one managing things silently, cunningly. Some argue she may even be more unpredictable and radical than Kim Jong-un himself. His rule depends on personal charisma. Hers is built on strategy and vengeance. To the outside world, she shows a smile. To the inside, she is a ruthless operator. And now, the biggest question in Pyongyang is, if something happens to Kim Jong-un, who will rule? Many names circulate, but the strongest possibility is still her. She already makes decisions, gives orders, and spreads fear. With Kim Jong-un's children still too young, the country is not ready for a smooth succession. That's why her name is now spoken not just as deputy leader, but as a potential supreme leader. Her face has even started appearing alongside her brothers in propaganda, sending a clear message: prepare, because this woman may soon do anything. Kim Yo-jong may never be officially declared leader, but she doesn't need to be, because even now, she is feared. Even now, the world watches her every move. She is one of the most dangerous women on earth. For the first time in North Korean history, a woman has climbed so high. Her rise was not born of revolution or reform. Her rise came from the shadows, and the shadows still follow her.
The symbolic blast was apparently ordered by Kim Yo-jong, the powerful sister of North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un.
The North Korean leader's sister, Kim Yo-jong, has now been named second in command at the regime's propaganda department.
우리는 평범한 집에서 살았고 평범한 가족처럼 행동했다. 나는 그들의 어머니처럼 행동했다.
Ko Young-suk told the Post she traveled from North Korea to take care of Kim, his older brother, and younger sister when they attended this boarding school in Switzerland.
The sister of the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has become the first member of her family to visit South Korea since the 1950-53 Korean War. Kim Yo-jong is part of a high-level delegation attending the opening ceremony of the Winter Olympics.